Welcome to the Talking Shh podcast. That's right. We'll be talking about music, albums, live shows, bands we love, bands not so much. Again, we're talking shh. Join me, Scott Nokon, and Stephen James. Hey guys, welcome back. We welcome back. It's been, you wouldn't know this, but we'll just say it. It's been a couple weeks since Stephen and I got together. You know, it's
work,
spring break, work, life, travel, all those things kind of mixed together. But here we are. We are back, number 46.
Getting close to the big 5-0.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to do a big blowout for the big 5-0 for sure. But I figured that what we do, Stephen, is talk about some current events, kind of what's going on. We're going to talk about the weather, right? Whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
It's weather. There's a couple shows. Yeah, there's a couple shows that I went to last week. I've not gone to two shows in 1 week in a while. So
that's like the 80s.
Yeah. I was resting on Saturday. That was a good day just to kind of convalesce and just take it all in. So let's start with kind of what's going on. So Scott, Stephen, talking. So this week, this is Thursday night, and so far this week, and I'm coming at you recorded live.
Yes.
Just outside Nashville. Stephen's in Southern California. There, I'll be broad because there's people driving up and down looking for Stephen. I know it, and in a good way too. In a good way.
Look for the cul-de-sac.
Yes,
they won't find it.
So on Sunday night. So in Nashville and in the South, if you're familiar at all, either because you live here and you're listening, or you've traveled, or you just know about it, the weather can be something else. So there's a group of guys, and there's a channel on Twitter. I'll say Twitter, not the new name. I like Twitter. And they do stuff on Instagram too, but it's called Nashville Severe Weather. And it's, again, like I said, a group of guys that they know what they're talking about. And so they follow the storms, they report out, they have all access to the radars, so you can see all the
what's going on.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a long week, and
tornadic activities.
Yeah, I've been up since 3 a.m. and I'll get to that. Mary. But anyway, so there's a lot of weather, and right now in March, like 5 years ago, in March was the last big tornado that came through. It ripped through Nashville. Yeah, it did some damage. It was definitely a big event, and you can't F with Mother Nature, right? You can just respect it, and you have zero control over it. So I wouldn't even say you can react. You just have to just be part of it and try to be responsible and follow their instructions. So let me kind of paint the picture if I can, Stephen. So these guys, Nashville Severe Weather, we'll add a link on this. Again, great information, better than what's that, Dallas Rains in Southern California on ABC
What's the fake tan?
Yeah, it's better. Hey, maybe that's saying better than Weber.
That too.
Better than Dallas Rains. Just saying it, putting it out there.
I bet you, real quick, let's fund the last name Rains. For a weather guy, Rains.
Weather.
I mean, let's be realistic. And if you guys that are watching around wherever you're watching, if you just Google it, you'll look at him and see he's got this coiffed hair and just fake tan.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's very animated.
Hey, so anyway, it's going to be sunny and 72 all week.
Yeah, he's doing
no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah,
it's funny.
So in that, these guys know their weather. Again, they can read all of the equipment. I need to do a better job of remembering these names. Basically, they have access to the radars. They know the systems. They tap into the National Weather Service. They're being fed information. So it's all right there. And then you watch on when there is a weather event, and there's quite a few in the South, they go live on YouTube. So they're all there. You see the pictures at the bottom. There's like 5 of them. And there's one main guy, and I should know their names because they're like celebrities here, like in Nashville. But there's one main guy that's kind of the leader, right? Kind of the host. And he seems to be I'll say the most informed, but then the other guys kind of jump in for just a couple minutes. There's someone that runs their social media. So they have a whole setup. So anyway, you get good information. So when there's a weather event, you go, and who knew you're tuning into the Weather Channel on Talking tonight? Anyway, you go there for information. It's good information. So
Yeah.
on Sunday night, we went out to dinner earlier in the night. We get back. We knew there was going to be a weather event. You make sure, and this is everything you need to have on your cell phones in anywhere in the South. You need to have a weather alert app. And let me tell you, when it
Absolutely.
goes off, it freaking scares the shit out of you. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
just think of the most.
We get that with earthquakes now.
Yeah, right. Same thing.
You
You
get pre
think of the
earthquake
most
warning.
obnoxious screeching sound.
Yeah, it'll peel you off the ceiling.
Yeah, if you guys remember Dumb and Dumber, when they're talking about, okay, can you make the
Oh
most
yeah.
obnoxious sound ever? And I
Yeah.
should just drop in a clip here on
It
post.
it
So we'll
it,
try to do it. It's exactly that.
it
So
is.
it works. It gets your attention, and you
Yeah.
oh, and you wake up. So you shit your pants, but at least you're
Yeah.
awake, so that way
And the
you can
bed.
take cover. Anyway, well, if you're wearing pants in bed. Oh, anyway,
Oh, hold
so
on a second.
anyway,
I don't have real drums here.
no.
Here we go.
Anyway, so we're having a good time, right, Stephen?
Yes.
We're having a good time.
There go the drumsticks.
There we go. Just having a good time.
And we too here have an app called My Shake Alert, which I've actually experienced 3 times, where it says "hold tight, duck under cover, an earthquake's coming." What do you think's gonna? I'm like, well, you just hear that, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So what? The two of them were at when I worked at the refinery. One was just a little bit. It was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Second one was a little nerve rattling, and then the third one, we were in Isabel and I were in bed, and it went. Both of our phones went off, and it says duck and cover. It was probably like 2 a.m. and I was like, fudge.
Yeah.
And I ran out because hold on real quick, and I have. Well, we can't see it. We'll see it on the next Riverside one. Behind me is a huge bookshelf that I can't strap in because I haven't been able to find the beam. And I ran. First thing I did is I ran out and I just braced it, and I was like, I'll just take the earthquake. So, and nothing happened. There was no movement whatsoever.
Yeah. So it's wild. So it's hard to plan for it. You know, they all talk about have a safe place. So we have a safe place. It's underneath the stairs. It's kind of this expanded closet, which actually works out pretty well. And so in that, so that's Sunday night. So I'll get to the point. We'll stretch this out for 10 hours. So Sunday night, you got some severe weather. So in March, again, in years past, there's been tornadoes that have come through. And it's not Tornado Alley, which I guess is more in line with what's in the Midwest, right? Texas, Oklahoma, kind of heads up that way. But there's definitely a path. It comes up Arkansas to Mississippi, Arkansas, over to the western part of Tennessee, and then it kind of comes around. So it kind of flows, and then it goes up. And where we live outside Nashville, sometimes luckily so far, knock on wood, we don't get the full brunt of it. So to go either north and head through Nashville proper and into Kentucky, or to go south, if a county away, and then kind of taper off and move on. Either way, you're watching your weather app. You're seeing
I can't imagine that.
The weather move across. And on that, they start naming cities and projections of when it's going to hit it. 9:28, it's going to hit Nashville. 9:20, 9:31, it's going to hit 9:35. So wow, they just said our city.
Yeah,
and then go, it's heading up this highway. It's heading up the 840. It's like, son of a bitch, that's kind of where we're at. And you're looking at it and you see it coming. And after a while, I'm certainly no expert, but you start just by you hear it enough times, you recognize and they're telling you, okay, purple in this, kind of controlled or more densely collected area. I know this sounds so riveting, right, for everybody listening, but that's where there's hail. Okay, well, so hail can be a bitch, right?
Yes, it can.
It can do some damage, but then you hear descriptions this week. So Sunday, and I'll get to the story about what was happening tonight, Thursday, this afternoon. You hear descriptions, and usually they go, oh, it's dime size or nickel size or ping pong ball size. Tennis ball size.
What?
Was Sunday and some today.
God. Get the cars in the garage.
But that will go through your garage as well.
Right.
So anyway, that passed us, didn't hit here, which was good. But let me tell you, just not knowing what's going to happen, watching it on your phone, seeing where it's progressing, them announcing the cities, you watching the map, the visual kind of come closer, like, okay, I need to get into my safe place. So we go over there, you kind of hang out. So that was Sunday.
How
here
are
we
you
are
getting
now.
any sleep through all that
Well,
shit?
you don't
Yeah,
because
you're on
this,
your toes the whole time.
yeah, this alarm
Yeah,
goes off,
right.
right? Think of the most obnoxious sound other than my
Frightening.
voice, right? The most obnoxious sound coming through. And so
Oh no, you
you're
have a
up.
sexy voice when you
Yeah,
sing.
thank you.
So,
Thank you. However, if it wasn't, and let me have a beverage here again.
there you go. Cheers, my friends.
Thank you. You as well. It would be so it wakes you up. So, of course,
It
none of
does.
these are timed out perfectly. It's not like it's 1 in the afternoon. It always happens between midnight and 5 a.m.
That's
3
horrible.
a.m. maybe is the most,
That's frightening.
inopportune time.
That's frightening.
So you get up. So definitely Sunday night going into Monday. Monday was a long day because you're up, at 3 in the morning, 3:30, and
All
just
right.
trying to battle through. One, not even knowing what's going on. And
Yeah.
yeah, I get it.
You
It's
can't
kind
see
of
shit at night either.
it's kind of a
It's
scary
black.
situation,
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's kind of
dark
a
out.
scary situation. So let's
Yeah.
fast forward to Thursday. So the the effects of last night. So Wednesday, I have never seen wind blow that hard in my life. And
Wow.
that was after the tornado warning expired. So was it
Crazy.
straight line, and they all the terms straight line wind. Okay. We kind of live where it ends up being a kind of a wind tunnel. So, our cans have gotten knocked over before, pillows and cushions on your outdoor couch kind of end up in the neighbor's yard. So that's not the first time. But this was freaking ripping,
Gnarly.
wind blowing the rain sideways. So all that gets us up. Again, all the alarms going off. 3 a.m. Don't go to sleep. 4:30, go, I should just make some coffee. My alarm goes off at 6:15. Oh, I'm already awake. So just turn it off. So get up, go through the day. Throughout today, Thursday, a few other alarms. So then sitting at work, most of our building is glass, and all the alarms go off again like at 4 o'clock. And then you hear reports of more tennis ball sized hail.
That's insane.
I'm like, okay, please God, do not
Yeah.
have hail land in my office parking lot.
Yeah.
I want to go park my car inside our warehouse,
Yeah.
but I can't get into the warehouse.
Because it's locked up.
Nothing happened in that regard, so all good.
Thank
And
God.
that's why we have insurance, though you don't want to file a claim.
Yeah.
So anyway, the weather took off again today, but it's wild. So growing up in Southern California, not on a regular occasion, and you know what, you can relate to this. Sure, we have fires, and when they happen, there obviously can be major damage. Of course, the recent ones in LA and the surrounding areas were just, probably some of the I was going to say the more worse. How's that? Some of the worst in the last number of years. Earthquakes. You got
Yeah.
your earthquake, sensor. I didn't know those even existed, right?
Well, you being from Southern California,
Yeah.
yeah, it's newer. Like I said, I've had 3 of them alerts that, you're just like you, if it's a tornado alert and you're in the middle of working, all of a sudden, you hear this thing. Like 2 of them have been when I was working previously at an oil refinery.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be there for an earthquake.
No,
And
that's
then you're
probably
like going, it says
not a
duck
good
and
place to
cover, and
be.
you're like, where?
Yeah.
And
I
you
want
just
to
kind
run
of
and
hold on and
hide.
write it out. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I don't want it to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. And we've got now several backpacks. It's actually behind this laptop, to go bags. Like in
Okay.
the event that it's time to go, we got stuff to go and take care of us at least for 6 days. So, like you,
There you go.
Mother Nature calls, you need to have something that's going to take care of you for a few days. And knock on wood, here we go again. I don't want to have to experience that. And a couple times you've texted me and said, "Oh, we're under it," and it worries me too. It's like, crap, earthquakes happen like that.
Yeah.
But something can happen like that, and they try to give you as much warning as they do, and they give you the weather alerts and say, hey, this might turn into that. That's kind of a nice thing to have, and that you have that app that has those 5 guys that help out.
Yeah,
But
and it gives you
whether or
some
not it's
indication.
frightening.
Totally. Sorry for talking over you, but
No,
yeah,
no.
it does give you the indicator, and they have it timed out. So if anything, you can see it coming. Obviously, it can take a turn, or I can go left or right. They're not based on whatever the projected path, but in that, it still gets you thinking about, we don't have a go bag. We have our safe place, but even in that, it's like, all right, we could probably do a little bit more. And this is something that you tend to
Everybody
think
says
about
that
after the
after the
fact.
event.
But it's like, all right, is there a few more things that we could put in that space? Yes. Okay. Do we need to make sure that we have like a flashlight that's battery powered and ready to go? Yes. We have enough chargers around the house, so we have some little portable ones that would make sure that you can get some, cell juice going, right, and have all that stuff and a few other things.
These are
Yeah,
two
I've
of the
seen
of the
those.
five of the four of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. So the one on the left that has about what, 1,000 in cash. So you're good with that.
I wish I had 25,000 in cash.
So anyway, in all that, it just, while generally on this show, and Stephen will come back into the picture at any moment now. 3, 2, 1, up here. There we go. Look at that.
How about that?
It still comes down to, yeah, we talk about music and we have fun on this show, but sometimes the reality of life kind of sets in and is like, okay, well, son of a bitch, there's things that you got to think about. There's things that you have to plan for. You don't always think about it, but
it's a PSA for you all.
Yeah, when it happens, sometimes it's too late. So, in that kind of reflecting on what has occurred over the last couple of weeks and what was happening today, I was getting text from my wife, and she sent me a video, which I shared with you, Steve.
Yeah,
and it's like,
was crazy.
Okay,
that looked like a tornado.
Yeah, it's like, and that's like just like the height of the roof across the street, and just kind of just moving it. Oh, I'm going to watch it again later, but
it was crazy.
That's what it looks like. And again, with the ripping wind and all the alerts going off, it's more a matter of, hey, you know what? You got to have a plan. You can't always plan for everything, but you at least need to kind of have the foresight to say, okay, I'm pulling this together. In that regard, then it's really, really important to know you never know what's going to happen next. So in that, and kind of now let's push it from where that was not necessarily the gloom and doom, but just the reality of life, with weather or driving down the street or walking down the street or whatever. It's like, we want to kind of bring it all back in to say, when you're listening to us, let's have some enjoyment, right? Let's have some, let's make it a festive. So let me hit on this, and we're going to be going into our next show in a couple minutes, Stephen, and talking about a whole band. So we've done like The Who, we've done a few other shows where we've talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in, and we've gotten some good views recently. We've gotten some great comments, and we want to reply to all you. Make sure you subscribe and like everything. We need to continue to kind of push up those plays and push up those subscriptions. So let me talk about, and this is something that probably is fueled by social media, and I didn't realize it. And as I'm sitting there last Wednesday at Deftones, so Deftones, been a fan of Deftones since '94, since they came out.
Let's go.
Seen them many, 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 many times in little tiny clubs with 10 people, up into last week, a sold out arena, 19,000 plus.
Damn.
I'm sitting there, and this was really,
you had good seats.
Last minute. Yeah. So here, real quick, Stephen. So we're finishing up dinner. It's about 8:00, a few minutes till. Show, first band started at 7:30. We're about 30 minutes from downtown. I've been talking about Deftones. My wife goes, "You want to just go?" I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Really?" It's not like I have to ask permission, but we're responsible adults, right, Stephen? We're respectful husbands, and so it's like, oh, okay, you want to go? Yeah, of
course.
Okay, go on to SeatGeek, not a sponsor, but can be.
I have SeatGeek.
Plug it in. Okay, section 111. That's a good section. Not too bad, all things considered. Boom. Okay, we got to go in 5 minutes. Boom. Drive down, get there, park, walk over, go inside, get a beer, grab a couple t-shirts, walk to our seats, 10 minutes to go before the show starts. Boom, Deftones. So here's the thing that just kind of blew me away. Being a fan for so many years, it was great to see them in this arena setting. The last time they played Nashville, they played at the Nashville Auditorium about 2 years ago with Gojira as the opener. It was Poppy, Gojira, and Deftones.
Gojira's opener?
Yeah. And
I wouldn't want to follow them.
6,000 people at Nashville Auditorium. I think that's about what it holds. So in 2 years, with no new record, boom, selling out arenas. And they've done that consistently on this tour. Looking around, going, I feel kind of old. Guy next to me, a few years younger than me, had been a fan since their first record. We're just kind of talking before the show starts. The band starts. You would think,
Mhm.
are we at? I've never been to NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
I have.
Okay,
So I won't bore
no,
you.
all good. But
I
you
won't
would
bore you.
think, you would think you were at a show like that with the screaming,
No shit.
girls screaming,
Shut
guys
up.
screaming, younger demographic
Were
across
you
the
just
board.
tripping? Like, what is going on here?
Well, what's up? I
I'm
first
so
thought, I go, this
itching.
got to be some kind of TikTok thing.
Is this Iron Maiden?
Later on, we confirmed that my daughter, who's more in that demographic, they're like, yeah, it's like they're huge on TikTok.
Nope. Would have
So
never known.
throughout the show, fantastic show. When they started playing songs again, screaming, like
That's
I
crazy.
was like, wow, I felt I had pride. I'm like, you know, we're the same age as this band.
Absolutely.
It's like that's how long they've been out. And so there was a sense of pride, and they played the show, and it was fantastic. And energy the entire time just went straight through. Chino barely spoke. And when he did, it was just appreciation and smiles. Like, this is awesome. This is awesome. So later, we get home and then we check out the next day.
I'd love to have gone to that.
And yeah, they just announced another set of North American dates later in the fall. Anyway, find out it's TikTok. So I pull
That's
them up on TikTok.
that's crazy.
They have zero post and they follow no one. And they have a couple 100,000 followers, but they don't post
Crazy.
anything. It's everyone else for who knows why
That's primary.
posting clips of their
Yeah.
songs, linking to their songs, putting quotes tied to their songs. Somehow they just made it into that process and people picked them up. But I still don't know why. I still don't know how a band that came out in 94 with the average person at this show was probably 23,
Right.
and certainly younger, that it was all about just and knowing the songs. It's like, how did they, I just don't know how. So
I,
obviously going viral is a whole thing, but what connected, and we've done this before, Stephen, right? So after we've talked about a topic, and then either because we talk about it, things start popping up just in news stories in the media and social media,
right.
what have you, which is kind of crazy and random. But I guess part of it is just you talk about it, you see it. There's a whole not psychological, but whatever. There's a whole topic around that. Um, which I can't remember because it's been a long day. Anyway, I was kind of blown away. I was kind of blown
Sorry.
away. So, really quick before we get into, and we're going to drop off in a second. So that was Deftones. So that was on
That's amazing though.
one side of the spectrum. Tons of young, I'll call them kids there. Hey, I guess we're the old folks here watching it.
In
How?
'94, I mean, so
Yeah,
what?
it's
20
like,
years ago.
yeah, it's 31 years. 31 years. Like these kids weren't even born yet.
Just
And it's like, so we have a great time. I know when we're walking out,
oh boy, here we go.
I
It's a
despise
Scott rant. Let's go.
scalpers.
Oh, I
So
do
so
too.
they're selling
With
the
the
bootleg
shirts.
shirts. And
Yeah.
at this
It's
point,
like,
it's been a long
I'm
day. It's
not
been a
buying
good
that
day.
shit.
So my only comment was, you giving a cut to the band? Hmm? What?
Yeah.
F off, and just kept
Yeah.
walking. I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to like instigate something,
No, I
but
get it.
that's just part of where it's like
You get it
that always
before you
pisses
go
me
into the
off.
show. I
Yeah,
get that shit before you go into the show.
yeah. But
Hey,
it's
you
like,
want to
no,
buy a
I went
you want to buy a
inside,
shirt?
and these are like 40, $50 each. But it's like, you know what?
Yeah, I want.
Deftones is a touring band. Yes. Are they millionaires? No. Are they successful? Absolutely. Do they
Yes,
put on a fantastic show?
yes,
Absolutely. Do I want to support live music? And, am I able to, buy a couple shirts and show appreciation for the band? Yes, I
sure.
can. Not everybody can, and I get it, and that's fine. But I don't go for at all just blatant ripoff of the bands.
Yeah.
Bands aren't getting a penny,
Well,
you
and
know.
here's the thing too, is that when you go to a gig and you go to the merch store, they're probably $40, $50 a shirt or whatever you're going to
Yeah.
buy. And that's why the cheaper shit will sell you a $10, $20 shirt that might look like it. And then when you
Yeah,
go, yeah, yeah, I'll take it. And you go wash it, it turns into a baby. Yeah. So don't, if Scott and I can tell you, don't buy merch off of the street vendors. Buy it from the merch shop in the gig. They might be one, there might be several. Wait in line and support them. That's what you can do because they don't make money off of music anymore, putting releases out. They
no,
make their money off of gigging and merch. And that's
absolutely.
what helps them support them. So
Yep.
support these bands. Scott tells you this on his radio show, 99 WNRR
Yes.
on
Yeah,
Tuesdays.
absolutely.
But don't buy the crap from the people in the. You want to buy a hot dog or a sausage cart? I think that's the new thing when you get out of a gig.
Yeah,
Don't buy a
absolutely.
shirt from people in the parking lot. Pay a couple extra bucks if you can't afford it. I get it. Pay a
Yeah.
couple extra bucks and support the band. That's what's
Completely, completely. So, so I made that comment. We walked back, we got in the car, we drove home. It was great. So fast forward, and we'll end on this, Stephen. So Friday, kind of unexpected, not entirely, and I'll clarify that. So the weekend before, hanging out with some friends, that was the first weekend of the NCAA basketball tournament. So just watching the games, behind, yeah. And the topic of music comes up. It's always a good topic. I
absolutely.
love the topic, so we'll talk about it. And the band, was mentioned. Oh yeah, we're going to go to a show on Friday. So this went 2 days after Deftones. I'm like, oh cool. What are you going to go see? Neon Trees. Like, okay, I remember that band. Like I never listened to them. I wasn't a fan, but in that, and this sometimes no one can relate to this, right? And let me take this, and that'll be part of the point I'm going to make.
Let me push that. Let me push that down.
Thank you. Have you ever bought something on Amazon, on a band website, or on a ticket website being influenced by some alcohol? Yes. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, yes, I have.
never. Most of
So
my Amazon purchases are
it's like,
that.
what is all this stuff that shows up?
Yeah, I don't remember
Anyway,
that.
I didn't realize I like stuffed animals that much, but no. So we're talking. I go, hey, let me go online. So go online. Okay, where's the show? Brooklyn Bowl. Cool. So it's this. It's a club, but it's half. Hence the name, a bowling alley, and then a concert venue. So think of it as a kind of a smaller House of Blues, kind of same setup, right? A balcony in the top that kind of works in a rectangle with stage. Hey, never been there. That'd be good to go. So buy two tickets. They weren't priced to, 25, $30. All right, cool. Just boom, bought them. Next day, oh yeah, that's right, you bought some tickets. I guess we're going to a show on Friday. Anyway, so we go to the show. I don't remember the songs off the top of my head. See if I can pull them up really quick, as we got probably a minute or two to go on this, Stephen. But I would tell you,
Trees.
Neon Trees. What if you heard it? You would go, "Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard this song." Animal, Neon Trees. Tell me what I don't know if that even sounds any good at all.
I
That
think
that
I've
sounds
heard of them.
horrible. He talks, everybody talks, everybody talks. So it's a poppy, new wave-ish type band, alternative band. They're not as old as I thought. During the show, they were like, "Hey, thank you. We've been doing this for 16 years." I'm like, "Oh, I thought it was older than that." Either. Anyway, stuff you'd hear on K Rock if you're, from Orange County, LA, you would hear that. Fun show. Fun show. We go to the show. Didn't buy any merch. Extremely, excessively overpriced drinks. Just saying.
Doesn't
Um,
surprise me.
not surprising, but it was a fun show. So to me, it's all a matter of if you obviously, have I ever gone to a show just because? Well, I did on
Why
Friday.
not?
Neon Trees, why not? It was great company, and we hung out. I've gone and seen different tours. I've gone to Stagecoach before, which is all country, just
Been
because.
there a couple of times.
Had a great time. Yeah. So it's more a matter of being part of the environment, being part of the situation, just having that experience, right?
I
So
got to see Toby Maguire at Stagecoach.
see
So
Tubby McGuire. So Toby McGuire. Yeah.
Toby Maguire, got to see him live. Sorry.
Toby,
Real
Toby,
quick,
Toby
I
Keith.
hate to
Toby
interrupt.
Keith. Because Toby, you mean Toby
Right.
Keith.
Seen a lot this week and
Hey,
overtime,
yeah,
and
I'm doing this. So
I've screwed it all. For those of
yeah,
past,
yeah.
God rest his soul. Real quick, I know we're limited on time. I wanted to just bring up real quick, Lincoln Park had a gig at Dodger Stadium and canceled it.
Yes.
And they said,
Yeah.
oh, the people that already bought tickets are going to have priority we're going to play at the Intuit Dome, which is the new place for the Clippers.
Yep.
So I went on real quick and it said, you're not invited. You're not invited. I'm like, they just sent me a link to that I'm not invited. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going. Like 2 hours later, I get another text that says, oh, they're getting ready to go on sale. And I was like, oh, let me just try again. Sure enough, I got floor for the
Nice.
same price, and it's in the round, which is even
Yep.
better than Dodger Stadium. Who wants to go? Stuck a bit. So
Yeah.
I can just kind of revolve around. So I didn't mean, I apologize for interrupting.
No, that
I
was
just wanted to
perfect. Yeah.
throw that in
Yeah.
really
That was
quick.
perfect.
I'm really excited to see this band play live, this new version of Linkin Park, and I'm because typically, if anybody's ever had to deal with Ticketmaster and either canceled or whatever, Ticketmaster is a pain in the fucking ass to deal with.
Yeah.
And then it worked. I was just like, what? I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it worked out. So
No, that's awesome.
I'm blessed. I'm thankful. And I'm sorry to interrupt your
No, you're good.
talk about it, but I just wanted to throw that in. There are some chances at when these bands go, well, we can do this, we can do.
Thanks again for tuning in to the show. We'll be back every week with a brand new episode. Make sure you check us out on Instagram at Talking Show, and also listen on Spotify or wherever you can stream podcast. See ya.